So this vegvisir, the pathfinder, the Norse compass, or one of the other names it has, is one of the magic symbol that some guy named, was it vegvisir, wrote down in a book called the Huld manuscript in, was it mid 1800s, 1850, 1860 something. And this Huld manuscript contains a bunch of magic things, mostly very obscure things that are very hard to understand. Feels like you had to know more to be able to read this manuscript than to just read it and know what it meant. This is the way it is with most magic books, by the way, because all of these magic books that are found throughout Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, all the Scandinavian islands, or countries. We're not all islands, we're a peninsula. But they are, I can't remember what they're called right now, but they have a name. They are not the magic written down. They are more of a diary for that specific sorcerer, wizard, whatever they call themselves, for the rituals or signs or magic they have made that was successful. And when they found a formula that worked for them for some specific reason, or whatever it could be, whatever they wanted to happen, they found the formula that worked, so they wrote it down. That does not necessarily mean it works for anyone else. It worked for them under those conditions for that reason. So that's what these magic books are. They are a kind of a written down memory of successful magic for that person under those circumstances. So that's what they are. They're called grimoire. There are a couple of them. Most of them are from medieval, maybe not medieval, more like later 1600s, 1700s, and up into the 1800s. And the most famous of these grimoires is of course the Key of Solomon, or the Seal of Solomon, which is also included in the Huld manuscript, interestingly enough. But most of these things, the signs in these books, are made up signs, lines, structures. Just to me it looks like that person made a mental map of how to perform this ritual. That's what it looks like, at least to me. But they are very, very personal. Most of them were destroyed by the person themselves when they knew that their time was up, or they didn't need it anymore. So there aren't that many around. They didn't leave them behind purposefully, because they knew that all the magic in those books actually works. That's why they wrote it down. Most of these, the found grimoires, also come with a warning of some kind, often a cryptic warning of be careful before you use these, because you don't know what you're doing, basically. And that's true. When you work with magic, you don't know what you're doing. You can think you're safe, but are you really? When you're working with the powers of the nature, are we really in charge? Can we control the forces of nature? We might be able to bend it a bit to our will for the moment, but control it? Probably not. So you should always be careful, whether you believe in it or not. Maybe especially if you don't believe in it, because then you're not aware of all the signs you should be aware of that it is not working the way you want. So I don't care if you believe it or don't believe it, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. But anyway, this vegvisir, what is it? I see it tattooed on lots of people. And of course that's not how you use that kind of magic. There are different kinds of magic that works in different ways, and making a tattoo of this kind of magic symbol doesn't work. So I see it on chests, I see it on hands, I see it on the neck, I see it on legs, I see it tattooed basically anywhere you can find a place to tattoo it. But what for? Why do you do that? Personally, I don't really understand why, but maybe that's because I know how this kind of magic works, and making a tattoo of it doesn't work. So the Pathfinder or the vegvisir is known as the Norse compass, and it is supposed to, I don't know, the Huld manuscript says something, I'm just trying to remember what it says. Something about when you're in rough weather and don't want to get lost or something, you should wear this. And anyone who's been out hiking or wandering in rough weather knows it's kind of easy to get lost. If it's a rough storm or hard rain or something like that, it's harder to find the signs you need if you don't have a modern magnetic compass. So I think that's what it says, I'm not sure. I can put an image up or a text or something to correct myself. But I think it's about something about rough weather, and if you don't want to get lost, you should wear the vegvisir. And I have a, what's that, wasp? Bumblebee? Something? Hello, little friend? Well, oh, it's a little bumblebee. I will help him out, I'll be right back. So, the bumblebee is out to freedom, my friend. Shouldn't be inside. Should be out doing your stuff. Well, where was I? Finding their path. I don't have a manuscript written down. Can't read from papers. Doesn't work. Sound like a total moron. Pathfinder, storms, finding your way. That's where we were, I believe. That's what the Hood manuscript says. So, if you think that this so-called Norse compass is some kind of symbol to guide you spiritually or help you to find your path through life, then you're wrong. That's not what it's supposed to do. As I said, according to the Hood manuscript, I think it's about storms and rough weather and finding your way, not getting lost on your travels. That's very physical. Just like a regular magnetic compass, it's very physical. It's basically, literally, to guide you to not get lost on your physical path where you are putting your feet in motion to go somewhere. Very physical. The vegvisir is not a spiritual symbol in that sense, but if you are to use this kind of magic, this is a specific kind of symbolic magic that works in a specific way. This is a special kind of magic, and I almost dare to say that it does not go as far back as the Viking Age or earlier, the Iron Age. But I don't know. We don't know. None of us knows. There are texts, source material that talk about the Ægishjálmur and or the horror helmet that makes you kind of a feared warrior. And there are also other texts that talk about signs and markings. But if these are the same ones as the grimoires have drawn, we can't know. There's no possible way for us to know that. It could be, but doesn't have to be. But this kind of magic shows up during the medieval times, from basically 1200s and onwards. And it survives into the 1900s, so it doesn't go away. And even if you can clearly see there are Christian influences in all of these markings and signs, it's a kind of a mix-up between the old and the new. You see lots of spells like in the name of the Father and the name of the Son, and they talk about Mary the Virgin and Saint Michael and all of those things, and that's obviously Christian. But you also have runes, rune signs, and they speak about, they mention gods from the Norse pantheon. So it's a kind of a mix-up. That's what makes it a people's religion or people's magic, because they take whatever they have and then mix it up. Because if you have the old magic and then you find out there is also new magic, what happens if you mix those up? It must be powerful, right? If you mix two kinds of gods, religions, and two kinds of magic together, it must become powerful, I guess. But this kind of magic is a magic that is performed with and on your body. So the way the vegvisir works is you are supposed to, when you are about to travel, to not get physically lost, to follow the what we today would call ley lines or something, the natural paths that lead us to where we want to go. You take your saliva, your spit, and you make this vegvisir under your foot, and this will lead you on your path. Now, it's not something that sticks around and stays with you for the rest of your life. It doesn't lead you spiritually. It leads you, it literally makes your feet go in the correct direction to go to where you want to go. That's how it works. And the same goes with the vegvisir, or the horror helmet. That one is of the same kind of magic, but instead of saliva, you use blood, and you draw it between your eyes on your forehead, because that's how it works. And there are, of course, reasons for this. I'm not going to go into the vegvisir right now, but we're talking about the vegvisir. But the vegvisir this kind of magic takes something from you. And the easiest thing to use when you draw something is some kind of fluid. So you have all kinds of fluids. You have urine, you have saliva, you have blood, things that you can draw from yourself. And in this case, it's saliva. And you draw it when you want to go somewhere. What do you use? You use your legs, you use your feet. So you take your spit, you draw the vegvisir under your foot, which you use to walk with, and that connection between your foot and the path will lead you to where you want to go, to keep you from going to stray from the path. That's how this kind of magic works. It doesn't lead your spirit, it doesn't stay with you for forever. It goes away, because when you get to your goal, the magic kind of stops. It's time limited in that sense, that you draw this symbol for this travel one time. The next time you want to go somewhere, you do it again. So it's a one-time use. That's how this works. So tattooing it on your hands or your chest or your arms or wherever you put it makes no sense. If you're not walking on your hands, of course, then sure, do it on your hands. But I don't think you're walking with your chest. So if you're not gonna crawl all the way there, and making a tattoo of something is something completely different from the magic use of things. And this is something you have to think about when we speak about magic. Every kind of magic has a specific purpose. And you have to follow the rules of that kind of magic to enjoy the purpose of that magic, so to speak. I'm trying to find words. So you can't take one kind of magic and use some other kind of magic ritual to make it work, because that's not how it works. You have to use the same method for this specific kind of magic to reach that purpose of this spell or whatever it is. This is something very many don't understand. They think magic is magic. No matter how you do it, you can make up your own, and you can do whatever, and you can take from this culture and mix it with that culture, and that's not how it works. You can't do it like that. And just as many people have a very strange notion of what magic is and what you can expect from it. So, the vegvisir. If you want to use the vegvisir, that kind of magic, you draw it with your saliva under your foot. I don't know if it matters which one, but because it's magic, it's probably your left foot. Because this is some kind of Christian influenced, Jewish influenced magic, and it's always under your left foot if you want that to work. So draw it under your left foot, put your socks and shoes on, and start walking. And the vegvisir will help you to get where you're going. So that's how it works. If you want to tattoo it, you're just showing off. That's just showing off. You want to show some kind of connection to the Norse, or connection to your supposed Viking heritage, or most of the people I see with this vegvisir tattoo, they all have the nicely trimmed beard and the little man bun on top, and they go to the gym and they show off their body with all of their tattoos. Most of the people I've seen also have the valknut and some kind of runes that don't understand what they are, made mostly wrong, for no purpose at all, just to show that they kind of have a connection to the Vikings of some kind. Look at me, I'm Norse, I'm a northerner, I'm a Scandinavian, I'm connected to my past through my ancestors that were probably brought here from Germany or from France or something during the 1600s, basically. But personally, I just think it looks stupid, because the vegvisir tattooed on your hand means nothing. If you want to think of it in another way, think of a car. You know what a car is, you know how it works. To use your car, you need some kind of fuel. So that fuel, if you pour that fuel over the roof of the car, or you put it in a can in the passenger seat, or you fill the tires with the fuel, then it won't work, right? Because it has to go in the tank, in the gas tank, to work. And this is the same with magic. You have now a symbol, so you know it goes somewhere on your body, so you put it on your hand, which is the same as you have a car, you know it needs fuel, so you pour the fuel over the tires, and that won't work, because that's not how it works. This kind of magic also, at least in later periods, you can draw it on a piece of paper and put it in your pocket. That is basically the same kind of magic, used kind of in the same way. With symbols and symbolic magic, you can most of the time draw it on a piece of paper, and you draw it with ink or spit or blood on a piece of parchment, or we don't use parchment anymore, so paper works, and put it somewhere in a pocket or in your bag or in your shoes or whatever the purpose may be of the symbol you're using. This is the same as dream magic, that you put something under your pillow. This is folk magic. and we can talk more about that in another video. But how old it is, we don't know. We can't say. We don't have sources going further back than the 1800s. Some grimoires maybe 1700s, 1600s. We have stories that mention certain symbols, but not what they look like, but that they are symbols and they are put somewhere on the body using some kind of fluid or made in a particular way. But that's a very weak source. So how old it is, we don't know. We can't know. And if it works, well, you only know if it works if you try it out, right? So next time you go hiking and you want to find something, following a path in the woods isn't hard. Anyone can do that, even if it's raining or storming. But if you want to find something, because this is basically what the Pathfinder vegvisir does, it makes you find something you don't know where it is. So on your way to finding that, this symbol, this magic is supposed to lead you to the thing you don't know where it is. So if you want to find something, next time you go out, you want to find something, whatever it could be, draw this symbol on your one of your feet. I would say the left foot, for some reason, just feels better, with your saliva, and start walking and see if you get the inspiration on your path to find whatever it is you seek. Try it out, see if it works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But this is the way it's supposed to work, not tattooing it on your breast. That's just ridiculous. It's not a spiritual symbol, it's a very physical symbol. It's physical magic. It works in the physical world, not in the spiritual world. It doesn't guide your soul or make you find your life's path with decisions and things like that. That's not how it works. So that's a little piece about the vegvisir and the magic. I hope you enjoyed it. I am not putting up any sources except the Huld manuscript. You can find that, just Google for it. It's out there on handrit.is, I think is the address where you find old Icelandic documents. The easiest. So there you go. I just took a break from mowing the lawn, so I will go back to mowing my lawn, the rest of it, because summer is here and the grass is growing, and even if I don't want to mow it, I have to, because my wife gets angry if I don't. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see what happens in the next episode, but I hope to see you then. So have a good day. Bye bye.